what's up guys? So, digging into this thing. Originally, I thought it was one thing, but it turns out it's completely the opposite. So, you know, I got this distributor that came from AIP Electronics, and I spoke to the guy. He said it's the JP designation, meaning this and that, meaning it's higher temperature than Dragonfire and all this other stuff. But just, I mean, looking at this thing, it doesn't say JP here, which it should, and stuff like that. So I'm gonna use my common sense and just be like, okay, it's probably just a regular distributor. And after like 2-3 years, it's gonna be an issue. So that's issue number one. Issue number two, which, like, you know, I should have known this. This is one of the problems when you put together a car and you don't know what you're doing and you do it semi-rushed, because I put this car together in about a week, you know, and even to somebody who's very experienced, that's, you know, a lot of things can go wrong, which is where I'm at right now. So, this ground wire coming from the thermostat, which is the main one you want, and it comes over here to this point right here. This wire, which is, I would like to say like 8-10 gauge maybe, is the only ground wire on the whole car. So no shit, it was gonna break up. Like, specifically only at high RPM. It was fine up until high RPM. Why? Because you can't have almost 400 horsepower cranking through that little wire. So issue number two. So we got the shitty distributor, we got the tiny little wire. Another thing right in here. So this is the speed sensor. I lost miles per hour. I took this off. Speed sensor, it comes out. Watch. Why? That's broken. And if you look down in there, you put this here carefully. This and this are broken threads on the transmission casing. But if you notice, the only thing that's broken is the outer shell. The seal of the inside chamber is not compromised. So technically, all I have to do, and if you look, let's see if you can see it down there. Let me see if I can get underneath here and actually show you a little bit better. But right there, I have another thread. So I could technically have the top bolt and the very bottom bolt, and then somehow, you know, putting this back in here. I wanted to leave it in here just so no shit gets in there. But that's seated right there. So if I can make a bracket from the tranny shifter cable mount, if I can make a bracket that holds from here down and just holds this in place, that's good. If I put another bolt down below there, that's good. I have the bolt up top. Now another thing, obviously I'm not just gonna leave it like that, because the reason why it broke is because, number one, I'm new. It's my fault. If you look at the video on the last launch where everything broke, you know, these are fucking slick radials. Toyo Proxy double R's. They're radials. I did a burnout. It was a warm night. They fucking gripped up. They gripped up, and the whole engine cocked, obviously, and broke the fitting. Broke that because of the torque of these things grabbing and having to move the weight of this whole car forward, right? That's why it broke. So what I'm gonna do is, from that mount to that mount, I'm gonna put this bar, boom, and I'm gonna weld it right in here. Boom, butt it up to that, butt it up to the other side right here like this, boom. I'm gonna have a long metal bar, and then right here, boom, I'm gonna make a torque mount that bolts right to this bar. after I get it welded in and everything. I'm gonna weld some tabs right here, make a mount that bolts into these holes and has a tab, and then I'm gonna have an adjustable thread rod like they have in splitters. Another thing, since I completely broke off this fitting that literally should go like right here, boom, and that goes to the brake booster, I just broke it off. I put that line over to this fitting right here, and then I'm just gonna JB weld that fucker closed. And I should be fine for 5, 10, 15 PSI, which is the most I ever want to make on this motor. As soon as I'm making more than that on this motor, like you can see, like I've had fittings break before, but like this is the intake manifold for this engine. It's got the BBK 62 millimeter. Let's see if you can see it. So went and got solid 1 1/8 inch outer diameter and some thick ass plate. It's my finger, it's pretty thick. Basically I was looking at traction bars. It's another day, by the way. I was looking at traction bars, and all it is this bracket with a bar. Boom. So first step is draining the coolant out of this fucking tucked radiator, which is a pain in the ass.
Oh, I didn't know. You didn't know that?
So on top of fabricating some shit, I got this guy chilling with me. Alright, got my plates cut out. They're identical. You know what I'm saying? Got some identical things. Door boys just hanging out. Now I got my holes punched, so I'm gonna drill through. Once we have these drilled, then I can weld the bar here. Got the brackets cut out, sandwiched between. Got the solid metal bar kind of positioned. So now I'm gonna tack it into place, and then weld the shit out of it. So last night finished this, so now I'm gonna make a mount here. I was only able to get one of these bad boys. This is, fuck, I forget what they're called. A turnbuckle is what these are called, with Heim joints. Got myself a new flapper. The vitamins. And a bunch of grade 8 hardware that perfectly fits within this Heim 3/8. So anyways, now what I gotta do is create some mounts. All right, so real quick, just showing how I'm gonna make this. If you notice right here, that's about 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches wide. So I'm gonna make a plate that's 2.5 inches by about 1.25 inches, which I don't know if you can see that right there, but it's about 1.25 inches. It shows about 1 inch, but I want to make it a little bit bigger on both sides, blah, blah, blah. And then there's going to be a small square that goes over these 2 bolts, boom. And then for this one, I'm going to make a 2.5 inch wide plate, but it's going to extend all the way up. And then obviously there's going to be a gap between these two, so I'm going to make a little square and weld those together and make it like a table, basically like this. So over here, I got this 1/8 inch steel, which in my opinion should be strong enough. Or I could go over here and get like some 1/4 inch thick shit. This stuff right here. I don't know, should I? I probably should, huh? Yeah, I'll probably make it out of this actually. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna make sure this edge is kind of square, and it is somewhat. So if not, use a square or escuadra. I'm used to calling it an escuadra. But anyways, make sure you get, you know, square 90-degree angles, no, you know, 80-degree angles, and then you got stuff like that. You got to have 90s. All right, quick thing of how I drill these holes in thick metal. First, I start with a pilot hole that is pressed in by this thing, as you can see, and it leaves a nice little indentation. You start off with that, you mark your holes. Well, first and foremost, what I did was I took a little bit of spray paint and a cap, and I marked around the holes. I put the piece of metal up against it. It slightly marks. I mean, you can kind of see. So I just aimed in the middle of that. I bought really expensive titanium tiny drill bits to start the pilot hole. And then from there, I just got these titanium nitride Harbor Freight ones. And I just step it up and up. So I already drilled this hole on the other side. Now it's time to drill it on.
There's no transitionary animal. There's no animal that they can show a jump from this to this.
Yeah, so
humans.
quickly and
it's also
so efficiently.
Yeah. I mean, you saw Rand Paul skirt around the tree.
Yeah.
The way he was addressing those things. Yeah. And he's like, look, you do something. You funded right here in America. By the way, as far as I think any other politician has been talking about this issue. It's specific.
And he seems very sincere in what he's saying.
When he talked to Fauci, he's like, why do you have two masks on? You've been vaccinated. Isn't this theater? Isn't it? Because that is what it is.
All right, so I got the plate right here. I got this plate built right here. I made a flat piece of metal. That's gonna go right there. So I'm gonna put a tack up here, and then I'm gonna put a tack over here, and then take it apart and weld it. Boom.
I was a giant fan, so I talked to him.
What's good with them welds? Boy. Fire weld. Alright, so now that I got this all welded up and bolted back into place, I got this kind of put together. I got two tabs cut out, a hole drilled through them, and that's gonna go right about there. And then that's gonna give that room to be right about there. So I'm just gonna center it and then go from there.
Chickens for acres, for miles.
They are, and
and cows and everything else. That got rid of like cows. Oh, cows! Or some catastrophe happened. All of fucking at least Southern California is just gonna die.
Because when I was talking about putting people on Mars, and we're running out of water.
All right, so I got this thing painted. I got it bolted back up. Now I got that thing. I got the fucking, I forget what these are called, but I got it bolted in there. You can see there's no play. So now, I gotta make the tabs for down here. Got this all mocked up. Got that pipe kind of notched. I got it centered on my mark. Got the bar kind of straight. So now I'm gonna put a couple tacks right here, and then on the other side, take this all apart, take this apart, and then weld this really well over here, and then paint it, put it back together, and send it. All right, got those bad boys welded on there. So now I got it set up right here. I'm gonna throw a coat of some wrinkle black, or actually flat black. Get her painted, get it on, get going. All right, guys, it's in. It's torqued down. I got a washer, a washer, a washer, a washer, and then a lock washer, all grade 8. Same with down here. It's all painted. It's torqued down. That's solid in there. Ain't no moving that. Same with in here. Boom, boom. All right, so next thing is, since my speed sensor has nothing holding it down, basically, I made this bracket. And so basically what that's gonna do is go like that, boom, hold that down at both of those points, and that gets held by this bad boy. So this is gonna go down in there and bolt up how it would, like that, right? And then in between these two holes is where these two holes are gonna bolt to. Let's see if I can get this light in here. Got this bracket holding this deal in here. Another thing, I went through all my grounds and I sanded them down. I also added this copper ground right here, boom. Just a big old ground. I tightened everything up. I'm gonna put the radiator back on, I'm gonna put the intercooler back on, plumb everything, put the catch can back on, seal everything up, and then I'm gonna start it. Set up, got my phone set up with Hondata. Engine is full of oil, coolant, everything, so we're gonna take it for a test trip. All right, boys and girls, I know y'all watching, it tells me. It's running good. We got ground wires, everything. Let's see. Let's take a look, shall we? So, turn off my lights. So we added 1, 2, 3 brand new copper grounds. My cap is still leaking, but it's a little bit better. Put a couple crush washers in there, but I'm gonna have to get a different cap. Turbo's still spooling, you can hear it. Everything's good, so thank you for watching. Next video is probably gonna be me at the track, putting in some time on this thing. It's gripping up. The motor mount holding up great. yeah, this thing's holding up good. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay humble.